Hello all. So my opportunity and honor during lunch today is to introduce our next champion for the Canadian Council for PPP. The Champion Award is the highest award that we give out, and we don't give it out every year. It's for an individual who has individually contributed in a meaningful way to advancing the PPP industry. We've awarded this 20 times to date, and today our 21st award recipient is going to be Mike Marasco, the former CEO of Plenary Concessions. Many of you will know Mike. He's been a real prince in the industry and a friend, and has done an awful lot to advance the PPP market in Canada and in the United States for the benefit of all of us. We call this a public-private partnership award. When I was thinking about it, Mike really exemplifies all three aspects of the phrase. In the public sector, he started his career with BC Buildings Corp., then with Fraser Health, where he was instrumental in bringing out one of the very early Canadian success stories, the Abbotsford Hospital project, a real pathfinder, and subsequently was working with Partnerships BC and really got going the wave of activity that Partnerships BC is well and rightly known for. Mike later on moved over to the private sector for the last 12 years with Plenary Concessions, leading proponent teams across Canada and the US and really driving the evolution of the market. So in Canada, the market has grown markedly in that time. And in the United States, Mike's played a real pivotal role in getting projects off the ground and getting portfolios of projects away. So some of the notable projects, and there have been many, but ones that come to mind, CSEC in Ottawa, the Humber River Hospital, and University of California Merced campus. So a lot of pathfinder projects, and Mike's been in the middle of a lot of that. And finally, the partnership aspect of the phrase, often overlooked, but Mike has really been a tireless advocate and an educator and an evangelist for this idea, as I say, across Canada and the United States. Has spent a significant amount of time and energy educating governments and private sector proponents and bid consortium members alike in the true ways to form and to carry out partnerships for the benefit of all parties. And subsequently, and relevant to this particular award, Mike's been on the Canadian Council board and has been an executive committee member for the last 9 years and has been a tireless champion for what the Canadian Council has been doing. So in all those aspects of the public, private, and partnership, Mike's really been able to bring together partnerships that have worked for all. He's done an awful lot, not only in terms of bringing projects to market and projects to success, but in terms of bringing together the whole industry. He's really managed to lift the tide, and we've all been the beneficiaries of that. So as a very well-entitled winner of our Champion Award, I'd like to mention and bring to the stage Mike Marasco as our new champion.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you for those kind words. You know, it was interesting when Mark Roma phoned me to tell me that I had won this award. I thanked him, and then I said to him, Mark, this is the first time in 9 years of being a member of the board that I'll actually get to sit at the head table. I had to win an award to do it. But thank you, and in all seriousness, I'd like to thank the council for the recognition. It's a great way to cap off my career. As most of you know, I'm retired now. I've been retired since the end of September. I'd also really like to thank my colleagues at Plenary. They supported me to do the missionary work to help grow the industry both here in Canada and in the US. And I would never have been able to make as big an impact had they not provided that support. Now, admittedly, some of it was to help advance Plenary's business, but at the same time, when you're going into a new space and you're educating people and you're trying to build a market, you need to do some missionary work. And as long as everyone's lifting together, I think it's a little bit fair. So, but thank you to my colleagues there. I'm also, I'm humbled. Sitting with John Beck at the table, I'm actually quite humbled to be recognized, especially when you look at the other 19 or 20 recipients of this. People like John, the late Michael Wilson, the late Jim Faraday, Gordon Campbell, who was a real champion that helped us launch Partnerships BC and get the Abbotsford Hospital done in British Columbia. And the other person is Paul Dunstan, who was the founder of Plenary, previous president of Plenary. And, without Paul actually convincing me that I could actually still make a difference in people's lives from the private sector side, I probably wouldn't have left Partnerships BC and would never have been able to do it as many times that I've done it since joining Plenary in 07. So, since that time, we've closed 34 projects and 13 hospitals in Canada. And, I had done one hospital, and to be able to make the difference in people's lives for 13 hospitals, pretty amazing experience. So, my decision to retire was challenging because I love the industry so much. I love the people. Like just coming back here today to see some of the faces again for probably the last time. Mark and I were talking earlier. I was planning on retiring earlier, but I just didn't want to leave because it's such a great industry, and you guys are also fortunate to continue to be involved in it. But it's time to write a new chapter in my life and watch the industry from the sidelines. I've been very blessed with my life and my career, and I thank God for that. And now it's time to give back. So I'm up to my eyeballs already in charity work, and I really hope to continue to make a difference in people's lives just from a different perspective. So thank you very much for the award, and I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Mike. What a worthy champion. He thinks he's retiring from the business, but he knows that once he's been in the web of the council, there's no getting out. So we'll be staying in touch. I'd now like to turn the spotlight on the Women's Infrastructure Network, which, as I mentioned earlier, is a group the council is honored to be associated with. Each year, the WIN Group recognizes its most outstanding individuals through their awards program. And so I'm pleased that we're going to have the chance today to celebrate the recipients of the 2019 version of that award. So I'm pleased to invite Moya Graham, who's a partner at McCarthy Tétrault, to the stage. And of course, Moya is here in her capacity as a representative of WIN to tell you about this year's awards recipients. Moya, stage is yours.
The Women's Infrastructure Network is a dynamic forum designed for women in infrastructure to make connections, network, and exchange ideas. For the past 10 years, WIN has helped shape the agenda in infrastructure in Canada, and I'm grateful to the Canadian Council for Public-Private Partnerships for this opportunity to acknowledge the network's contributions to the industry. And more specifically, the women who were recognized this year for having distinguished themselves as leaders in the P3 and infrastructure space over many years. Thanks to the generous support of our sponsors, WIN has recently launched the We Win outreach program, designed to support the development of emerging leaders in infrastructure. The program has two facets: the matching of individuals for mentoring cycles, and in-person and online practical training modules. For more information on the We Win outreach program, please visit the WIN website. The Women's Infrastructure Network hosted its 5th annual WIN Leadership Awards on April 23rd, 2019, with simultaneous events in Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, Saskatoon, and Vancouver. Together, we celebrated the accomplishments of over 40 nominees in 2 categories: Outstanding Leader and Emerging Leader. Thank you again to all the nominees and to those who took the time to nominate them. It's my privilege now to congratulate the 2019 winners again today. Our emerging leader for 2019 is Chloe Doucette, project engineer at Kiewit. Our outstanding leader for 2019 is Vicki Turnbull, managing director and co-head infrastructure finance at RBC Capital Markets. Chloe and Vicki, please stand to be recognized if you're here. The date of the next WIN Awards ceremony is April 23rd, 2020. We'll hope you'll join us, and please consider nominating the talented women you know who are leading the way in P3 and infrastructure. Nominations for the 2020 WIN Awards will open on November 25, 2019, and you can send your nominations to the link that will appear on the screen. Thank you.